Hey guys, so this is Devin over at CrossFit Transcend, and I want to talk about, I just wrote an article titled Testing versus Training, and I kind of want to talk about it a little bit, and put it on video and get it out there, get some shit stirring, just because it's something that I see a lot, but it's not talked about a lot, and it's something that's vitally important, especially for somebody who's trying to get results, whether that's trying to lose weight or trying to perform, get to a competition, whatever it is that they're trying to do, and they're looking for their strength and conditioning facility to do that for them. This is very important for you guys to know. And it's this concept of testing versus training, right? So let's define the two. So testing is something that you do, you perform, let's keep it to the workout sense, where you perform to get a result. And that result is basically measured time and time again to see if you improved, right? And what you're supposed to do between those tests is train. Training is supposed to get you better at testing. That seems pretty obvious at first. But the more we talk about it, the more you'll realize that most gyms aren't doing these two properly. So, let's take testing for an example. An easy example of what a test would look like is a 1 rep max back squat, right? You're testing to see your absolute strength in the back squat. Another not so obvious example would be something like an AMRAP, as many rounds as possible in 10 minutes. And you have to do, 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, 15 squats. And you got to one round, you got to do that over and over and over. And you're looking for a result there, right? You're trying to see what you can do in those 10 minutes. You're trying to see what number you can get on the board. You're trying to see what you can do, what your number is, what your result will be. That's testing. Let's talk about for time workout. Let's say Fran, 21:59 of thrusters and pull-ups, right? That's, again, you're looking for a result. You're trying to get time out of that. You're trying to see as fast as possible, or how you can do that, what your time will be when you do that as fast as possible. That, again, is a test. So, if we have Fran or AMRAPs or 1 rep max back squats or any type of max, whether it's 5 rep, 3 rep, 20 rep, whatever, and those are all testing, what is training supposed to look like? Well, this is where most gyms go wrong, because training is not supposed to be testing, right? Let's keep that in mind, that you test, then you train, and then you retest, and then you train, and then you retest. That's how it's supposed to look. That's how cycles work. Training is supposed to look something like this. Maybe a training cycle for strength development will look like a central nervous system development periodized program that lasts 8 to 12 weeks, that works on hitting the biggest lifts that recruit the most muscle groups to stimulate the central nervous system to increase strength. And that would look like maybe 4 parts to the day. And it would be a back squat, maybe with a tempo of 4 to 5 reps, 5 sets, certain amount of rest in between. And then maybe the same thing with the press. You have a certain tempo to get a certain stimulus out of the lift. And then you'll do that 4 to 5 times, 5 sets. And then maybe after that you'll do a Romanian deadlift. You'll hit those major groups. And then maybe after that you'll do some strict pull-ups. That would be a strength-focused workout, a central nervous system recruiting workout. And let's say you do that week to week, and the reps get a little less, and you increase the weight a little more, and you create a different stimulus, and then you change the tempos up maybe a little bit, to all create this different stimulus of the strength training, of the central nervous system development. And as your nervous system was able to recruit more muscle groups, then you'll be able to lift more. I mean, that's a little more simple of a complex subject, but you get the idea. So, that's what a strength cycle would look like. Maybe you add in some aerobic development or energy system development, and that would look like threshold training, which is you doing a couple AMRAPs in one day at one session, and these AMRAPs are paced. They're not balls to the wall like a test. They're AMRAPs that are paced. They're designed for a different purpose, for training rather than testing. They're designed to put you at your flirt with your anaerobic threshold, which is basically doing the work as at a high pace, but not so that you're going to break into your anaerobic energy use. Instead, you're going to stay aerobic, but get to the highest ceiling you can in that aerobic engine, so that you can do more work at the aerobic level as you train this. And maybe mixed with that, you'll do some lactic and alactic work of sprinting with the rower or the Airdyne or things like that to create more power. And that's what training looks like. And those would be cycles, and there would be a deload week afterwards, and you would see the progress. And that's what training looks like versus testing. And then how would you test that training cycle? Well, maybe you do 1 rep max back squat. Maybe you do a max pull-up. Maybe you do a 3 rep max back squat. Maybe you do a 5 rep max deadlift. Whatever it is to test that training. And the problem is most CrossFit gyms, and there's one just about fucking everywhere now, they don't train enough. They test a fuck ton, but they don't train a lot. And think about this in terms of school, right? Let's say you're in a calculus class. Everybody loves calculus, so let's talk about that. You're in the class and you signed up, you're paying a high bill for this, you're trying to get something out of it so you can move on with your career or whatever it is you're trying to do. And every day you went to this class, the professor there, Professor Bob, gives you a test. Every day he gives you a test. You didn't learn shit yet. Right? You don't know what's going on. You're sitting in your desk. He says, hey, you know, this is calc. It's going to be a great semester. Here you go. Hands you a test. You go, shit. Right? Take the test. You don't know what's going on. It's like a sheet of foreign language. You don't know what's happening. You're just guessing. Right? Then, to make matters worse, Professor Bob over there puts all the results on the chalkboard so everybody can see it. Everybody can see it. Now you're looking at the board and you're like, damn. I fucked that one up, right? But Harry over here, Harry killed it. I don't know what he was doing. He absolutely murdered that one. So now you're testing. You don't know. You're not learning anything. You're seeing your result, but you don't know what that means. So now every day that you walk into that class, he gives you a different test, and maybe it's on a different subset of the same subject. So maybe it's on a different part of calculus than your first test was. Still, you don't know what the hell is going on. You take the test. Your name goes up there like fucking Harry, man. I don't know what he's doing, but he's killing it, right? And you're still like, I don't know what's happening. Now, fast forward 5 months from now. What would that look like? What would you have learned? What would progress look like in that scenario? Probably wouldn't be much, right? I mean, from taking the same type of test over and over and over and over every day, you'll probably begin to realize certain things. You'll put certain numbers together or certain relationships with numbers, or you'll see certain patterns, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to get some questions right through strategic guessing, basically. You see patterns and you guess. And maybe you get a couple things right. And maybe you improve. Maybe slowly you make some progress. Right? But think about how much more effective that would be if you learned. Right? How's that for a concept? So maybe, just maybe, instead of getting a test every day, you actually learned. You learned these things, and then you took a test. Wow, shit, that's a concept, right? Think about that. Now, not just Harry's killing it. You and Harry are going blow for blow now, right? So, I want you to think about that. Next time you step into a CrossFit gym or any type of gym, think about that. Think about what their programming looks like. Ask them. Ask the coach, what's your program? What's your programming design? How do you get people fitter? If they just say CrossFit and that's it, get out of there. That's just going to be test after test, right? Which most CrossFit gyms are. Here at CrossFit Transcend, we're different. We train. We train 4 to the 5 days a week. 1 day a week we test. Everybody knows it's a test. Everybody knows that it's different. And everybody knows that this is where their training comes in. The results are ridiculous. They're just amazing. We have a lot of people who are doing a strength cycle who are seeing PRs like crazy. They're getting 40, 50 pound deadlift PRs in just 4 weeks. It's insane. But when you look at the program, when you look at the training and the testing that follows, you understand. You understand that wow, there's actually a method to this, and it works. And that's what we do. There are some gyms out there that definitely do the same thing, and if you know that your coach has a good hands and he talks about energy system development and central nervous system and certain strength gain and all that kind of stuff, then you know you're in good hands. But if your coach just puts up random workouts, random strength things and that look cool, and then workouts that are designed to just leave you in a puddle of sweat without getting anything out of it, you should question that. The last thing you want to do is pay a high tuition bill just to be tested over and over and not actually get anything out of it. Right? And just because you see some results doesn't mean that the program works. That just means you're getting better at guessing. You can go into a workout and feel like a Superman one day because you got it right by guessing, right? You kind of went into it with, you know what, I'm going to do this today, and just so happened to work. Then you follow that same methodology to the next workout, and you feel like you got punched in the face by the Hulk, right? And that's because you didn't learn, right? Maybe if you do the same test again, you'll have some sort of similarities, just like if you were in that math class. But at the end of the day, you're not really getting much out of it, and there's a big difference there. So again, next time before you want to understand the difference between CrossFit gyms or between any type of strength and conditioning gym, the programming is a pretty big deal. Don't pay that high tuition bill if you're just going to be tested over and over. Make sure you learn. Make sure you understand.